Today, I am so excited to be speaking to an actor who first burst into the industry at the age of 8, taking the West End by stage and storm. He's skillfully made his way from the stage to our screens, featuring all of the classics from The Lion King, Oliver, Matilda, Bugsey Malone, and then securing prime time slots across the BBC, developing his craft in comedy, drama, and now on Friday night's most beautiful setting to solve the biggest crimes on Death in Paradise as Officer Marlon Pryce. Please welcome Tahj Miles. How are you, Tahj?
I'm very well, man. How are you?
I'm so good. So excited to speak about your journey right now. But as always, I have to say, Tahj, welcome to the mainstream.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Nah, I love it. So you're back in London, right?
Yeah, been back since late November. So I've settled in. I've settled in by now.
Yeah, you're feeling the cold now, innit?
I felt it as soon as I got here. The moment I don't know why, I've been doing the show for 3 years now, and I always forget to pack like a puffer jacket when I'm leaving. So when I get home, all I had was a hoodie.
You fumbled the bag.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're definitely back. Born and raised in Hackney as well. Big up the East Londoners, love to see it. So let's talk about that journey into acting, because it seems like you've always wanted to do this, but I wanna honestly hear from you. Before hitting our screens, you actually went to Anna Fiorentini Theatre and Film School. Whoever that queen is, I love her name. So was this a conscious decision that, okay, cool, I want to be an actor, Mum, where can I go? How did that conversation happen?
The conversation actually never happened, funny enough. I've matured a tiny bit, like the smallest bit, but I've always been just a really loud, energetic kid. And when I was younger, that's when it was at its heights. So my mum told me the story many times where I'm just in my nan's house with my granddad, my mum's there, and I'm just causing a ruckus. Like I'm just doing all sorts. I'm running around the house, kicking football, laughing, whatever. And my granddad's like, this kid can't go to a regular school because he's going to get in trouble. If his energy isn't going to the right place, he's going to end up doing some foolishness. So you have to do something. And we haven't actually talked about exactly how she found out, but she used to go to Clapton Girls' School, and Anna Fiorentini hired a school to run their schools on the weekend. So I don't know exactly how she found that out, but I ended up auditioning for the school and getting in. So it wasn't, I say later on, when I started to get used to it, I finally had the conversation and said, this is what I want to do. But at the beginning, it would have started to keep me out of trouble and somewhere to channel my energy so it's not on the streets or anywhere else that could end up doing some foolishness. That's how I ended up. I
love that, because you know what? I think that's something that a lot of like parents who are listening to the mainstream or watching the mainstream can actually take into consideration. Like, just because a child is hyper and acting up doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You can definitely focus that energy on something. So you are definitely a testament of that. Big up granddad for noticing. Love that.
Hey, listen, he's always been there. He's always known.
That's so sick. So, okay. So this is a proper like theatre and film school. Like, they didn't play any games, got an agency, all that kind of stuff. So when you joined there, what was that experience like? Because you said it was a weekend thing, right?
Yeah, it was every Saturday mornings. I believe you ever did mornings or afternoons, but I did mornings. I was just having fun. I don't think I actually quite understood what I was doing. Even when I booked my first musical theatre role, I didn't really understand what I was doing. It was, to me, it was like going to a youth club every morning. And you sing and dance and act or whatever, because I wasn't really, it's not like I was a singer and my nan said you need to bring him in to do some singing, or I was a good dancer. I just had a bunch of energy. So whatever you asked me to do, I was always going to do to 100%, no matter what it was. So I was just having fun. I had a lot of fun. I didn't really understand what an agency was or what auditions were. Because when you go to these musical theatre auditions, it's basically the same thing as what the school does on Saturday. It's like a bunch of kids. You go in, they teach you a song, a dance, and some lines, and you just recite it. So it was basically the same thing. Wow. It's only when I finally booked my first role, Oliver the Musical, which was at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, which is the biggest West End stage. Definitely. It's only, I think, then I realized, like, oh, right, this isn't Saturdays. This is something a bit different than just doing it on a Saturday in a local studio. This is the biggest West End stage, and I got to do it like 3 times a week. I was the smallest kid on the stage. But even then, it was still fun. I didn't really take it too seriously. I don't think I actually knew completely what I was doing.
Wow, that's so interesting, because, you know, listening to it, it sounds like that's the, in the industry, there's kind of that, oh, obviously child star goes to the theatre school and then climbs the ladder. But you were just literally enjoying yourself.
I was just taking it as one step at a time. When I got to about 13, 14, I started to be, okay, cool. This is what I want to do as a career.
Right.
But back then, it was between acting and football. Actually, I almost stopped acting to play football when I was about 12, 13 years old. Because I didn't really take it as a career. I wanted to be a footballer, really and truly. I wanted to play for Man United or whatever. And I managed to get a trial for Tottenham. But then my mom said, you can't because you're contracted to Disney right now because I was in The Lion King. That's when I started to understand, oh, this is a bit different. I'm actually employed by these people. It's a bit different. I can't just drop things where I've signed a legal binding contract. If I don't stick to it, it's going to be a problem. That's when I started to understand, okay, this ain't no little man saying, like, this is a serious job that I'm doing. I got to take it seriously.
This is it. This is what I'm saying. People don't understand that you was working. Right? And obviously not to make it like child labor, but like there's contracts in place. If you're not here, you're going to breach it and we might take you to court.
Literally. That's how it goes. You better have a good reason for not turning up, boy.
Wow.
Football's not one of them.
Wow. Yeah, they weren't rating it.
Nah. I wasn't even that good to even try and take that step anyway. It's like, I was the next Saka. It wasn't going to happen.
I commend you for your honesty. I like that.
Yeah, come on. I have to be honest.
Well, obviously, booked and busy, like you didn't play games, and this is all around the age of what? Like I'm talking, you probably booked and busy by the age of 10, right? Like,
yeah. So I did Oliver, I believe, 7, 8 years old, and then from then to about 12, 13, it was back to back where it was musical theatre shows or short films or whatnot. But it was non-stop at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen the list, like Bugsey Malone, Matilda at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Like, that's not a joke. Like, obviously, like you said, Lion King. I feel like so many kids aspire to be in Lion King. So I've got a bit of a like 2-part question. One, was you gassed? And two, how do you even balance all of these big shows, like with life, with school, with socializing? Because like I said, you were working.
To answer the first part, The Lion King, I remember that audition. I had to go to a school called Sylvia Young. And by now I'm kind of used to doing the audition process.
Right.
And just seeing all the kids and how all the parents as well were so excited for their kids to be auditioning for The Lion King.
Yeah.
Me, I was like, okay, well, I have to get it now. The fact that everyone else wants to get it, I have to get it. I really want to get this part. And obviously I watched the movie as well, which I was a massive fan of.
Yeah.
So when I finally booked it, and even by the way, before you even book the part, there's a 6-month training process called Cub School, where you go to Sylvia Young every, I believe it was a Friday after school, and they teach you the show essentially. That's why when it comes to rehearsals, there's only like a week and a half of rehearsals. It's just tech rehearsals because we've already learned the whole show in Cub School for 6 months.
Didn't know that.
Exactly. So it's really a 6-month audition process where you learn every single thing, and then they kind of chop the numbers down bit by bit until the group becomes smaller, and then they offer, depending on how many they need. When I was there, they already had 2 kids staying on, so they only needed 3 boys and 3 girls out of bus lot. But yeah, I was gassed. I was really gassed. When it came to school now, it was funny. When I did Oliver and Lion King, I was in primary school still. I remember I had to leave. I did a year of Lion King. I went into another 6 months, but I had to leave because I was starting secondary school.
Right.
And it was going to be too much. So in primary school, it was fairly simple. It wasn't that hard. Like I could catch up with work. I'll be at school pretty much all the time. I have to leave early every now and again. But it wasn't that hectic. It's when I started secondary school now, and I did about a week's worth of performances in Lion King secondary school, and I did Matilda, Emil the Detectives, and Bugsey Malone from year 7 to year 9. And that was, I got to big up that school, Paddington Academy, because they really, really, really supported me, because that was hectic. It would be literally going to school up until about 12 o'clock, then having to leave to go to rehearsals almost every single day. And it gets to a point where it's like, I'm had to look at the numbers. And she was like, am I even legally doing the required amount of school hours? Like, it's just legal.
No,
but obviously, everyone knows what they're doing, so they make sure that no court cases can be thrown at us.
Yeah.
That's a different story. But yeah, when I got to secondary school, it was a lot. I didn't like, I'm not seeing everyone all the time, so everyone's got their friendship groups, and I'm kind of like slipping into one here, because I kind of knew everybody, but I don't have my core group of friends. I'm not seeing everybody enough to even form those kind of groups. But I was kind of known as the kid in school. That's the kid that's never here because he's performing or something. I was known as the kid that's performing on stage and he's barely here. But when you see him, just know he's cool and just say hello. Like, that was kind of thing.
I mean,
I was barely there.
Because I was thinking, like, did people ever feel like, oh, he thinks he's nice because he's on the theatre and da-da-da, like, because sometimes kids can just see it as an opportunity to hate on you, basically. Like, did you feel that, or was everyone supportive in general?
Everyone was supportive. I think it's because if I was acting, because me personally, I don't like it. It's mad based on my profession, but I don't like attention. I hate, apart from when it matters, like if I'm on stage and I'm on screen, obviously watch me do my thing.
Yeah.
But when I'm just in school, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I want to fit in with everybody else. So when I'm in school and I want to perform in front of thousands of people the night before, I'm not walking in going, oh, you know, guess what I did? I'm going like, oh, you know, what did you do yesterday? Did you see the match the other day? Like, just trying to be regular. So I think because of that, it wasn't a case where everyone's looking at me sideways, like, oh, he thinks he's big shot, Because I barely actually even spoke about it in school, unless someone asked me to. If you ask me to speak about it, then I'll be happy to have a conversation. But if not, I kept my lips sealed because it didn't really matter in school.
Fair enough. I respect that. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing, to still live your life as well as being, you know, an actor, because it's not easy. It's not easy balancing it.
No.
But then you went to Brit school. Now that is, I've heard a lot about Brit school. Like my cousin went there. I know loads of people that went there. And obviously there's so many stars, from Tom Holland to Bashi to Purcell Ascot, who's a friend of the mainstream, Javan Wade, even the singers, Adele, Jessie J, the list goes on. You've probably heard it all before. How important did it feel to like go to a college that was based around performing arts? Like, do you feel like that was I need to level up, I need to go to this school? Because obviously you've gone from, like you said, mainstream school to now a very specific performing arts college. For you, was that a necessity?
Yeah, it was a must. It was a must. When I was, it's that simple. It was essential. Because when I did all the other musical theatre shows, Sylvie Young was like the it school, like Sylvie Young and Talia Conti. There was always kids from those schools. And I was always jealous of those kids because they got to do singing, dancing, and acting, and then academics almost half and half. Where compared to me, where I couldn't even train on my Saturday school because I was performing. Like I couldn't do it. So I literally was a straight academics, no training. So I was always looking at Brit school from like year 7, year 8. I was always watching it, and then you can only apply in year 10. So as soon as that period came, I applied with a quickness.
Oh, so you went from year 10?
Year 10, yeah. I went as early as possible. I didn't waste time.
You were playing.
I went as early as possible. Yeah. I didn't want to spend any more time in academic school. When the moment I could get there, I left. I said, I'm going. And it was great. It was everything I thought it was going to be, where people around you have the same interests as you and are doing the same thing as you. And not only can you talk about, I mean, like in Paddington Academy, I could have conversations about, I don't know, performing arts and all that kind of stuff, but it wouldn't last long. It'd last like 2 minutes and then people would be like, okay, we don't care. But in Brit school, literally sat in the canteen, just talking nonstop about, I don't know, acting. What do you prefer between TV, theatre, and filming, and whatnot, without forcing it, because we all have a passion and a love for what we do. So that was the main reason why I wanted to go. And yeah, I benefited highly from it. All my close friends now were all people that I met from Brit school. So yeah, I don't have no regrets going there whatsoever.
That's so sick, man. No, I'm glad you made that decision, because it sounded like it was a breath of fresh air to be in that environment.
100%.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, obviously, we know you were killing it at the theatre. I mean, West End is a huge achievement in itself, and especially at such a young age. But you mentioned it, the vision. You knew you wanted more. Did you always want to move to TV and film and all that kind of stuff? Or was you happy at theatre, in the theatre?
I was happy. I think because it got to a point where, because being completely honest, I could never really sing or dance. I kind of winged it.
I was actually thinking, like, so wait, hold on, can you sing?
No. But then I could never really sing it. Like, acting was the one thing I could do, was because I was just really cheeky and I love, it's gonna sound terrible, I love lying as a kid and seeing how far I could go with the lies, which is essentially acting, playing characters and doing something that's not completely you. When it came to the singing and dancing, I to this day, I don't know how I actually managed to got where I got to with my ability to sing and dance. You know, I swear down, when I deep it, I'm like, Matilda had loads of singing and dancing. How the hell did I get in natural? Because by that time, I definitely couldn't sing and dance. So as I got older, when I got into my teens, and your voice starts to drop, you get older.
Oh
It's
God,
like, right,
yeah.
cool. It's like now, even if I try to sing, I can't sing. I just can't.
Yeah.
So musical theatre is out of the window now. Then I started to look at theatre and just anything that was strictly acting. Once I realized I can't sing and dance anymore, I still really loved acting. And that's when I was like, okay, cool. Theatre seems cool, but one of my favorite films growing up was High School Musical, which I love because they were basically doing what I was doing, singing and dancing, but on screen. So my goal was to always be on Disney Channel. So when I got older, I started to go in the back of my head, and I was like, I need to be on Disney Channel. I need to be on TV. But that was I say when I got into my teens, that's when I really like put my foot down and said, I want to be on TV.
Right. That's amazing. And yeah, that's so impressive that you had that vision and goals from such a young age as well, because not everyone knows what they want to do at that age. So that's
true. Yeah.
That says a lot. I do know though, because I was a bit of a theatre kid myself. I do know that sometimes it can feel like moving from theatre, especially the stage, to TV. It's not always easy. People get a tough rap. They say like, theatre, especially musical theatre is so different to like, acting and being on screen. So for anyone that maybe is trying to make that transition, how would you say is the best way to go about it?
The best thing I would say, and it's probably like we described as like film and TV 101, is like the cameras it's a microscope. So when we're doing things on stage, they tell you, they always say to you, perform to the very top. So everyone can see your eyes. So obviously you're gonna do things bigger. But TV and film, the lens is a microscope. So even the smallest little micro expressions on a massive screen are gonna look huge.
True.
So if you're auditioning, if you just came off a long musical theatre run and a theatre run or whatever, and you used to doing things big, when you get that film or TV tape, just know to whatever you're doing, just bring it down by like 50%. Yeah. Even more than that, to be fair, depends on what character you're playing, but just bring it down. Just bring it down, because on the screen, all that big stuff, it looks like you're doing it. So you just gotta bring it down. You just gotta bring it down a bit and keep everything here. This is where all your actions, all your expressions are. Your body, based on the shot, it might be useful, but really and truly, everyone's looking here. Yeah. Everyone's looking here. So bring everything from your toes or shoulders, whatever that you'd have on stage, and bring it all into here. It's not easy. It is really hard, but it takes some getting used to. It just takes practice, but eventually you get there.
No, I totally agree, because I remember being in theatre and they're like, even if you're at the back, do the big, big sighs. And
exactly. Do that on screen and see how mad that looks. Do a massive sigh and see how mad you look.
Literally, it's so true. I love that. Well, you definitely made a major move to TV, and this was such a cool project. CBBC's Class Dismissed. It looked like so much fun. You was called Tahj, which I love. And it was filmed in a mockumentary style, which is very Corrupt FM. I love that. So what was the experience like being on that show?
That was sick. That was my first, I call it my first proper TV gig. I'd done short films and stuff before then, but that was my first time on a TV show. And I'd grown up watching CBBC, so I was gassed. Even getting the audition, because I'd auditioned for countless other CBBC shows beforehand. And when I got this one, I don't know, I was like, nah, man, I have to get this. This is like my 5th time trying for CBBC. Wow. I have to get this. I have to get it. And it was sick. It was, 6 weeks in Manchester during the summer holidays. How the work was, it was 4 main character kids. Me and Billy I was from London, he was from Essex, and Charlie and Chanel from Manchester. So me and Billy would travel up, stay there. What we do, we travel Sunday evening, obviously film Monday to Friday evening, go back home for the weekend, and then travel back up on Sunday evening. So it was that for about 6 weeks. And it was a lot of fun. Like I said, my character was called Tahj. To this day, I don't know why they made that decision. We never really asked, honestly.
Are you serious?
I don't know why. We just went with it. It was only me and Billy, because Charlie and Chanel, the characters were Emily and Jasmine. And I don't know, I don't think we ever asked. We just kind of went with it. But it was sick. I loved it.
I mean, that's the easiest character to play.
You know what I mean? I loved it. I can kind of compare it because like Will Smith is my hero. So I compared it to him on Fresh Prince. His character name was Will. So I was like, this is my Will Smith moment. So I took it. I didn't even ask questions before they changed their mind.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
You
I
know what I
like
mean?
that.
But
That's
it was sick. It was sick. First time being on TV, on a network that I watched as a kid. Yeah, I was living the dream, basically. It was sick.
Oh, that's so sick, man. And from there, did you feel like your TV career was like literally gonna kick off, or did you know you still have to like establish yourself as an actor, like from CBBC?
Yeah, so I did that show for 3 seasons. I finished when I was 16.
Mm.
So when I hit 16, that's kind of when you basically become an adult in the acting mode. Like you don't have no
Oh, wow.
licensing, all that kind of stuff. You become an adult when you're 16. Um, Pay goes up a tiny bit when you hit 16 too, because you're an adult as well.
Fair.
Um, so it was at that point, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm an adult now. The opportunities aren't going to be as much as when you were a kid. When you're a kid, there's all types of things you can do when it comes to TV, film, and theater. But when you're an adult,
Mm.
it's competition now. You're competing. Like for example, I might audition to play a 15-year-old at the age of 19. So it doesn't matter how old you are, everyone is auditioning for your one part, even though you might be the right
Yeah.
age for it. So that's so I ran then I was like, okay, cool. This is when the real work really starts. This is when I really have to make sure I'm training properly. Like I can't just walk into an auditioning based of what I know from what I trained when I was 7 years old. It's not gonna work. It's the
Yeah.
game's changed. I've grown up. That's when I said, okay, I need to train. I need to take things seriously. I need to also be patient. I need to be
Yeah.
patient because I'm used to booking roles back to back when it comes to musical theatre every single year doing something. I'm like, listen, it's not gonna happen. It's not if it does, I'll take it. But realistically, it's not gonna work that way anymore. So I had to really
Yeah.
sit myself down and be like, listen, if I don't get a role for the next year and a half, I understand that's a part of the game. And don't start to look at myself and think it's my problem. It's not. That's just how the game goes.
Yeah. What did you do to train at that point then? Because obviously you're out of, was you out of Brits at that time?
I just started. So when I did Brits in year 10 and 11, I was doing a film and media course because I
Right.
kind of wanted to take a break from acting a little bit. I wanted to be in a performing arts environment, but not always be doing acting.
Fair.
I've got a passion for filmmaking, so I did that year 10 and 11. And then I did my final year on Class Dismissed just before we started college. And year
Fair.
12 and 13, I went and did theatre because I knew,
Oh,
like I said, I needed the training. So I was like, okay, cool. I need to be that acting every single day. I need it if I'm gonna want to
yeah.
keep up with everyone else. So I transitioned into theatre for the college term. Then I also joined Identity, who I'm now signed to. They have a school
Amazing.
on the side. So I was doing theatre at Brit every single day, then twice a week going to Identity part time. Because you need it. If you want to get to where you want to get to, you have to train. People might think you booked one role, that means you're sick. You were sick for that role, but the next thing you go to, they might not think the same thing. So you gotta keep training. You gotta keep training. So that's how I kind of kept up the pace a little bit.
That is the realest. And like, and yeah, congrats on being a part of Identity because they are definitely leading the way for top talent right now. So yeah, that's
100,
beautiful to
100%.
see. It's making me think, was it hard to shake that kind of like child actor image? Because, you know, obviously you're known for being on CBBC. You was known for doing musical theatre. You basically was a Disney kid. So did you feel like when you was training, you're like, oh, I need to go for like serious roles and I don't want to be pigeonholed as like the CBBC comedy kid? Like where was your head at there?
That was always the first thought. If I get an audition through and it's like a cheeky, charismatic kid, I'm like, nah, man, I don't want to do that. I want to do some grittiness and I want to swear and stuff like that. Because obviously you can't swear on CBBC. I'm like, I want to swear. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Do things I can't say it. Like, you know what I mean?
That's so funny.
But it took some getting used to because even I still get those characters now, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing. It's not about everyone has their roles that they play the best, and it's not something to be mad at. It's if you're good at that, you're good at it, and be glad that you're good at that one thing. Because some people are still trying to find their little pockets where they can fit into. So if you found yours, like I said, I found mine at 16. It's a young age to find it. So I just said, like, you know what, if this is what I'm good at, I'm just gonna roll with it. But there was a part of me that was like, nah, man, nah. I need to be doing some gritty stuff on like HBO, BBC One, where it's all dark and Gotham
Yeah.
type stuff. But you can wish for that all you want. Someone has to write it before you can get it. So you can keep looking for those kind of stuff. It hasn't been written yet. You're not going to get the audition. So
True.
you might as well just keep an open mind and just wait for things to come. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, just deal with what you have.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I gotta say, I was very happy to see you in 2020 in Steve McQueen's award-winning BBC drama Small Axe. Now, you played Kendrick Manning, which wasn't actually a massive role, but you said it was one of the best experiences of your life. So why is that?
It was. There's for many reasons. When I auditioned for it, story behind that was I did a showcase at Identity that the casting director Gary Davey came to watch. And then from there, he kind of said, I've got this thing I'm working on. I think you might have a good character for it. Let's have a meeting and we can see what happens. When I found out it was Steve McQueen, I was like, the fact I'm even getting considered for a Steve McQueen project is ridiculous. It was mad. So when I booked it off rips, I was like, okay, I'm in a Steve McQueen project. It's already game over. It's already going to be crazy. When I started to learn about the story and how important it was in everyone's history, from my granddad's time to even to mine, I was blessed. I was like, I can't believe I'm even going to be a part of something that's, one, directed by Steve McQueen, and two, so important. I didn't think I'd even have an opportunity to be involved in stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this experience as a whole, I'm working with Letitia Wright, Malachi Kirby, Steve McQueen, Gary Beadle. It was just madness. I was 17 at the time, my first job out of college. And I just had to take a gap year. I didn't want to go to drama school or uni because I thought, because Brit, as much as I love Brit, at times there was too much acting. I was like, as much as I love acting, it's too much, man. I don't want to be thinking about acting and doing acting every single day of the week. I kind of want to do other things. So I said for a year, I'm just not going to do any training. I'm just going to see what happens from there. And the first job I got was Small Axe. And yeah, I kind of asked for a better experience. It was amazing. Even when it came out, the feedback was sick. I found out my granddad actually used to go to the Mangrove, which is the episode I'm in. So I watched it of him in Jamaica, and watching him and seeing his face, I was like, this is why I do what I do. I don't do it for me. I do it so my family can watch and be proud. And specifically my granddad, because like we just said, he was literally the reason why I'm doing this in the first place. So for him to now watch something that he can relate to, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It made me really happy that I picked to do what I'm doing.
That is so beautiful, man. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Because yes, again, big up granddad, man. I love that you are on this incredible journey, being able to experience new roles now. That's beautiful. But I do have this feeling in my heart that it's not easy being a black male actor, because even though you said, I want to get gritty, I want to swear, there is a typecast that there was a long period of it's like gang member number 5 and all that kind of stuff. And obviously we've seen the success of Top Boy. There can be characters that have depth and the action and all that kind of stuff. But have you specifically been intentional about the types of roles that you don't want to do and that you do want to do?
Yeah, very. I always have when I first signed on to Identity with my agent, we had like a little one-on-one of, what do you want to do? What do you want to be part of and what do you don't? And I specifically said, no, like gang, drug, your London stories, and no stories about slavery. Because those are two stories that I don't think need to be told anymore. I'm like, why do we keep, even though they're great, I watched Top Boy is great, and we've seen with some people like Michael Ward and Jasmine, and they've skyrocketed. So that's brilliant. But it's me personally, I'm like, we don't need to keep making these stories anymore. They've been made from however long. We already had Top Boy. We had 2 seasons of it back in the day. We've had adulthood, kidulthood. We've had bulletproof and all the kind of stuff. We've had Roots from 1990, whatever. We've had 12 Years a Slave. We've had so many of these stories be done well already. So I don't understand why, in big 2022, 2023, we're still making these stories. And also low-key the same way, because how much more can you tell about slavery and how much more can you tell about black kids selling drugs and shooting each other on the streets? There's only so much you can really say. There's only so much you can really say. So listen, for the people that are in them, do your thing, because like I said, Michael Ward is killing it right now. And my main issue was I don't want to be put in that box, but as we've seen, doesn't exist. Michael Ward literally just got nominated for a BAFTA today. Congrats. And he started off in Top Boy and Blue Story. 2 things that are very, very, very similar, but doesn't matter. He's still on his way to Hollywood and is I thought going to be in contention for an Oscar. So listen, do what you got to do. But just for me personally, I'm always, my main draw to story, to playing a character is the story. If my character has a great involvement in the story, then automatically I'm drawn to it. But it could be a great story, but if it's the typical characters and the typical thing that we've seen over and over again, I was like, you know what, let someone else take that. It's not for me, which is a struggle. It's getting better. It's definitely getting better.
Oh,
And also
yeah.
for me, since I've told my agent, this is not what I want to do. It's not really an issue for me because they don't, they're not disrespectful and I'm like, I'll send it to them anyway. They know I'm very strict. Like I don't do those kind of stories, so they don't send them to me. And if they do, there's one I got sent. When was it? Quite a while ago now. Actually, it was like it's called Washington Black, which I think is going to come out sometime this year.
Oh.
Where the story, from what if it's wrong, I'm wrong, but from what I got from the script, the story, the character's background was slavery, but the actual story wasn't about slavery, but that's just kind of the character's background. So when I first read it, I said, no. What we doing? I said, I don't want to do this. But when I read it and keep reading it, I went, okay, it can pass. It can pass. But yeah, those roles are doing wonders for other people, which is great. But those aren't the only roles that have to do wonders for other people. There are many roles that can get you BAFTAs and Oscars. It's not just that if you're a young black actor, you can do whatever to get to those positions. So you don't have to keep looking to those as the gateway. It's not.
100%. I love that, Tahj. That's such a great perspective. And you've definitely done all right. You've done all the right things to put yourself out there. And I'm so loving this show. You've secured a starring role in BBC's crime drama, Death in Paradise. So how did this role come about? Like, let's talk about that, because this is prime time, baby.
This was just the regular, the audition comes through. You audition for it and see how it goes. You get it. You might get it. This time I managed to get it. I was on a road. How old was I? I was 18. So I'd been out of school for about a couple of years now, and I've been auditioning back to back for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd gotten close, obviously booked small acts, and I'd booked when I auditioned for it, I was on a Sky pilot. So I booked a few things, but there was definitely more things that I didn't get than when I did get. So when this came through, I was slightly aware of the show because actor called Toby Bakari, who played JP, was teaching me identity at the time because he signed to identity. He used to go there and he would teach in my class. So we kind of all knew him as, oh, this is so-and-so from Death in Paradise. So when the audition came through, I said to him, I'll guess what I'm auditioning for, but don't do nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't give them no treatment, nothing. I want to get this on my ones. Just don't even say you know me when we get into the room. Whatever. Don't say nothing. So I was aware of it. And yeah, I had 2 auditions. I had one with the casting director, then 2 chemistry reads, both with Toby. And then I managed to book the part. Right in the middle of the pandemic. So I didn't get to film for a while, but I was looking forward to it.
Oh, I can't even imagine holding on to that secret for so long, especially in the pandemic. There's nothing to even do or talk about, and you're like,
That's the only thing I really had to look forward to. And I was like, I can't even tell anybody because it's gonna until like a year's time. I can't say nothing until like about a year.
Oh my gosh, that's insane to me. Like, yeah, I'm the worst person for keeping secrets. So yeah. All my future employers, sorry. But like you said, you knew about the show and you joined at series 10. You'd come into like, good contact with Toby. Did you feel like you was making a big step into the like mainstream spotlight? And did you feel the pressure of having to like level up, especially joining such a big like existing ensemble?
Yeah, and I was terrified. I was terrified. I was terrified. That was my first time booking. Apart from Class Dismissed, to me this was my big break, as we like to say. This was my big break. My first time being on such a popular show. First time having a proper character that has an arc from episode 1 to whatever.
Yeah.
First time, hearing about options and all this kind of stuff and all these kind of contracts. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm never.
What is that?
All them kind of like options, like how many seasons you might be doing from that one to that one. Like first time ever even hearing about that. First time hearing about shooting in blocks, and which I never even heard of. I didn't know
what's that? School us. Come
on. So blocks is basically how we do it. We have 8 episodes. Now 8 episodes and a Christmas special. So blocks is basically. I'm trying to describe it in like a universal way, but I'm just going to tell you how we do it on our show.
That's right. Yeah.
Block 1 is the Christmas special, how we just did it last year. So block 1 will have its own director and its own first AD. Then on to block 2 will be episode 1 and 2, and that has its own director and own first AD. So every block has one director and one AD and one first AD, and it's 2 episodes. So it will change for each block, for example. Yeah. So I didn't know that.
Episodes be in the right order, or
sometimes. So we've had times in the past, I believe it happened on series 10 where we shot episodes out of order. This year was a weird one. We did like Christmas special 1, 2, 3, 4, then what did we do? 6, 7, then 5, 8.
Yeah, that's mad.
It was for reasons I can't disclose. There was a reason for it. It'll be spoiling it, so I can't disclose why we did it like that. It made sense, but it was strange. It was strange. So yeah, sometimes in an ideal world you do it all in order, but for some reason you would have to do it out of order. But the reason will make sense to everyone that's on the shoot.
That's crazy. Yeah, for me, getting my head around like the scale of the show and like meeting new directors all the time, that must be a lot as well.
Yeah, I was terrified. I didn't know what I was also like filming away from home for so long for the first time. I was like, what the hell is going on? But I'm good at adapting to a lot of situations. So the fear quickly, because I was there for a while. My character appeared in episode 2. So that's like, that would be like, that's like the halfway point of block 1. So block 1 will start at one time. They'll be doing that for 2 weeks for episode 1. Then they'll start episode 2. But they had me there from the start of block 1, even though I wasn't shooting, just so I can climatize and get used to the environment. So I was on holiday essentially for like 3 weeks. I was chilling. So, but even then, I was in my villa like, my days, my first. I'm reading my scripts here, and I need to be good because the director we had for block 1 was the director that auditioned me, and obviously he's been how many months now because we couldn't start shooting when we wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my days, what if I jump on set and this guy was like, he's not as good as I remember in auditioning. Why did we cast this kid? I was like on it until I got on set. And I remember my first day on set was with Toby. Thankfully, it was with Toby because that's the only person that I knew before we came on. And it was like my first scene I shot was my first characters scene in the show, which was good because it's a really, really fun scene. There's a bit of action, bit of comedy, bit of drama. And I remember going home after that first day on set and just feeling this like sense of relief, just leaving my body. I was so tense. I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. And after that, it was fine. It was like any other job. But that first day, I was on edge. I was on edge.
I commend you for pushing through it, boy, because that's serious.
You have to.
That's it. And of course, like you said, it was a huge lifestyle change. Like filming in Guadeloupe. I love that you got to go there. Like, and it's now second home, it sounds like.
Basically, yeah.
What have you learned whilst working on this show? Like, especially with working abroad, like you said, new directors all the time, new cast. What things have you definitely learned about yourself and as an actor in this time?
A lot, I've grown up while I've been in the show. I started when I was 18 and now I'm 21. So those are my last years of my teens and my early first years of my 20s was while I was on this show. And it was a lot. When I first got there, like I've been used to doing long runs. Like I was in Lion King for a year, so that's a long time to be on one show.
Yeah.
I did Class Dismissed for 6 weeks at a time, Manchester. So I'm used to doing things that for a decent bulk of my time, but I'm at home and I'm with my family. I'm not away from home for 6 months. And it's not even like I can jump on a flight quickly, 2 hours. It's an 8-hour flight to get to Paris. Then you have to get to London. So it's not as easy as just, let me go to London quickly. So first thing I learned was that I'm all right. Like I can be alone for a long amount of time and not get I did get homesick, but not get too homesick to the point where it affects my job. Like I said, I've done it before. So I'm okay. That's one thing I didn't know if I was going to be able to do. I'll be so real. I was like, I don't know if I can even be at home, away from home for that long. Another thing was, because we were filming in Guadeloupe, the line between work and social is kind of blurred because our locations were like the beach and stuff like that. And I would leave set and go and jump in my pool or go and jump out and go to a bar with the rest of the crew and have a good time and go. You know what I mean? So the line between work and social life is kind of blurred. And for an 18, 19-year-old, that can be kind of dangerous.
Okay, fair.
You know what I mean? So I learned a lot about myself that I'm much more mature than I thought I was when I first got there. Even my mum was like, "Listen, don't go there and act a fool. You like don't do foolishness. You're right,
You didn't
because you're
play.
18, you can drink now. Behave yourself." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I
Yeah.
am. Of course I am." Da, 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 da. But I said like, "Oh, when I get out there, it's gonna be lit. I'm gonna be doing this." Da, 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 da. When I got there, I was like, "You know what? I'm here to work. I'm
Yeah.
here to, my first thing to do is to work. Everything that happens after is extracurricular activities. My main job is work. So
Yeah.
if I want to go out and have a good time and have a drink on a weekend, what I think is clear, is it going to affect what I got to do on Monday morning? It is
True.
cool. I'm not going. I'm not going. And that's that. I brought that from series 1 to we just did series 12. I've had the same mentality of I'm here to work. That's the first thing I have to do. Anything else can't affect my work.
Yeah.
It can't. It can't. So yeah, that's things I didn't even think about before I booked a job like this. To me, you can go to work and have a good time on the weekend, but it's
Yeah.
different when you're seeing your colleagues on the weekend and then you're going to work sometimes on Saturdays too, then have a
Yeah.
Sunday off, then go to work on Monday. So you have to make sure you have a good balance of social and work life. So make sure things stay professional and everyone's happy.
You definitely learned a lot. That is such,
A lot,
yeah.
a lot.
Just growing up on a show, that's crazy to me. That's so crazy. But it's interesting you said that, like, you're literally growing up, you started there 18, and now people are a little bit more in your business, I'm assuming. And I saw the most hilarious headline, especially because I know the truth, and it read, Tahj Miles' wife is
Oh
the Death in
Lord.
Paradise actor married. What on earth was that about, and how did you react to that?
All this stuff is new to me. Getting recognized on the street, people sending me DMs. Like I haven't had any bad experiences yet. Touch wood. I
Yeah,
hope I will never. Everyone I've met and spoken to has been lovely, and I'm more than happy to take some time to talk to people. So everything is still very new to me,
yeah.
including the news articles. On the kind of, my mom always says to me, "Do not end up in the sun. Just behave yourself when you go out. Don't end up in on these foolish papers." I'm like, of course, I would never. But I've learned sometimes you don't have a choice. They're gonna write about you regardless. Like for example, do I have a what? Who the person that wrote that? Why was they even thinking about whether I have a wife or not? What why would you
But the
say in
joke
the
is, I read the whole article and it was like, basically, Taj doesn't really talk about his personal life. So we have no idea. And I'm like, so you fast up yourself to write this big old headline, who is your wife, when
say
there
we
is
don't
no
know.
wife?
Just to say we don't know. And they knew that. They definitely knew that beforehand. But they said, let's write this big long thing just to say, we don't know. But we're good. And they also said what the part that made me mad was the end were like, oh, but basically they said, we'll be sure to find out. I said, be sure to find out. What? Chill out, relax. I'm trying to live my life, man. Don't you don't stay over there.
Literally trying to age you up. Like,
I'm
this is,
saying.
I did say to Taj off camera and off mic, his age is not out there, people. So
I don't
I'm
know
glad
why. It's
I'm
not there
glad
anywhere.
you've mentioned it on the mainstream podcast. An exclusive. Taj Miles is 21. We now know. But nah, it's crazy. Do you feel like you have to kind of keep tabs on how much you put out there now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a very private person in general. I don't post too much on socials, all that kind of stuff. Mainly because I think no one cares. Like when I go to post something, I'm like, no one cares. Like, who cares about what I had for breakfast this morning? No one actually
Yeah,
cares about that. Just let people go on about their lives without worrying about what you did this morning.
I
I
get
don't
that.
think anyone cares about what I'm doing. But especially now, it's like with every single thing I post, it's okay, let's proofread and proof watch every single thing I'm doing, make sure everything's spick and span. There's nothing people can pick at and dig at. That's what I learned. One thing I've learned: people are gonna find problems with anything you do, even
True.
if, like, for example, I just did a video on my YouTube channel for Christmas where I like donated in various ways to charity, food banks, clothes banks, went
That's
outside and
amazing.
gave out treats on the street. Me and my mum had to sit down and watch it and go like, okay, cool. People might say something about that,
Yeah.
say something about that. And I'm like, but I'm giving to charity. Like, I
Yeah.
don't, what bad can you take from it? But
Some
that's what we
people
live in,
find
no
it.
matter
Yeah.
what you do, no matter what you do. So yeah, it's still new to me. It's still new. All the news articles about random stuff that I don't even. Again, why does anybody care? Why I don't
Yeah.
understand. But that's when I have to start to figure out. Some people do care now. Some
Yep.
people, I'm on a show that's been going on for 12 years now. People watch it religiously, and
True.
when new customers come on, they want to know about their lives. So I have to understand that some people actually genuinely do care, and I have to take
Yeah.
that into it. I have to be responsible as well with what I post.
I hear that. Totally hear that. Well, you've mentioned that Death in Paradise. It's felt like your big break, even though we know you've been grinding. But do you have your eyes and your sights set on going Hollywood? I mean, I think it's a big conversation that happens a lot for Black Brits. We've seen Daniel Kaluuya, we've seen Idris Elba, John Boyega, all make that big Hollywood move. Some come back occasionally, but a lot of them choose to live abroad. Have you considered it? Is it something you want to do, or are you happy at home?
50-50. I'm happy at home. I'm definitely happy working. I mean, I still work in the UK. I haven't worked in the UK in 3 years, so I can't really say I'm happy working. I can't say I'm happy working in the UK. But I am happy. I'm not like itching to run off to LA or wherever. I'm quite happy where I am. But I do understand that if you do want to take your career to another level as a Black Brit, you do kind of have to, not have to, but that is the route to take, because there's way more, unfortunately, way more opportunities out there for people that look like me. It's become a fact at this point. Yeah. We've seen more people from going back from Idris Elba, then on to John Boyega, then Daniel Kaluuya, Damson Idris.
Yes, Damson. Yeah, gosh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Michael Ward did a American movie as well, just after he did Top Boy. So it's just proven that it's a fact now. If you really want to take yourself to the next level as a Black British actor, you have to go to America at one point. You have to kind of test the waters out there, because once you break that wall, that's it. Once some people see you, who knows what other stories they're writing for people that look like you. Here it's getting better, but it's not where it is out there. And it really should be. It really should, but it's not quite how it is out there. So I've been close with a lot of American stuff, and they come in every now and again. But yeah, I'm 50-50. When they come along, I'm itching to book them. I am definitely like, I need to make sure I book it because it's an American job. But I'm not sat at home going, oh, I need to get some American auditions. I need to get some American auditions. Yeah. I just want to get auditions in general. That's one part about being an actor. Sometimes auditions don't come. I just want to get auditions, period. When American ones come, then I'm like, cool, I need to make sure I'm booking this one, because once I break out into the States, then the amount of doors that are going to open are countless.
Definitely agree with that. Oh, that's really optimistic. And how is your American accent? Have you got a specific state that you've been working on?
You know what? My American accent, when you get auditions, you just say general American, which is always confusing because, like you said, there's how many different states in
literally.
So my general American, which is like a mix of 6 different states, is okay. It's proven to, I've gotten quite far with it so far, so it's okay. My favorite is New York, though. It's not the best. My New York, I'm not even gonna do it here because it's shocking, but I love the New York accent. I went for the first time as well last summer. And I was walking on the street just listening to people talking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you lot sound so cool, man. I love this accent. So they sound so sick. I don't know why, I just love it.
No, I agree. There's something about they're very they got attitude when they speak.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just cool. Like, it's got swagger about their accents, and they're just talking randomly. Like the most mundane sentence sounds like a rap or something. The way they say it sounds sick. I love it.
No, that's sick. That's sick. Don't worry. We're putting it out there. Tahj is going to take New York by storm very, very soon.
That. Soon come.
Love that. Love that. Well, Tahj, you've been dropping so many gems already, but it's officially time that we ask you, Tahj Miles, what are your top 5 tips to make it in the mainstream? I am here to help you count through because some people lose track.
please. I'm about to say you're going to have to help me count.
Tip number 1.
Tip number 1 is my main tip that I'll give for anything, but especially when it comes to being an actor or entertainer in general, is be patient. You have to be patient. There is no time limit to these kind of things. You don't have to do certain things by a certain age, and certain things aren't going to come to you at a certain age. They're going to come whenever they want to come, and you just have to trust that when that thing has come to you, it was the right time. Like, I've been acting for almost 12, 13 years now. Wow. My big break came in the 11th year. If you told me that when I was 7, I'd be like, what? Hell no, I'm getting my big break when I'm 12 years old. It's not how it works. You can't put a time limit on that. You have to be patient. Number 2 is trust yourself, trust your instincts. You're going to meet a lot of new people the more jobs and more places you go to, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about your career and what they think you should do. It might be great advice because they might have met people that it worked for, but everyone is different. If I got told by someone, oh, by the way, Michael Wood did this to get him a BAFTA, that might be true, but I'm not Michael Wood. I'm Tahj Miles. Me and my crew are not the same person. We have two different journeys. So you got to trust yourself. You're the only person that knows you better than yourself. You're the only person. So you have to trust what you know is what's best for you. Take advice here and there, but at the end of the day, your final decision has to be what you told yourself, not what someone else told you. That's the best way to take things. Number 3, something I had to learn very recently. You have to make friends in this industry, man. You have to make friends. You have to make friends. The black TV, film, theater pool, it might seem small, but it's really not, you know.
Okay.
It's really not. You might like, I was at one of my friends, shout out to my friend Razak, he's another actor, has been in countless other stuff, and he's got a company called Making Numbers. And they had their second anniversary party on the 30th of December. And there was people there that I'd met, number one, that I knew, and people that I had no idea existed. Wow. But when you get to meet them and hear about what they're doing, they're working, and you really should know who they are. So we think that, oh no, there's only a certain small amount of black British actors doing their thing like that. There's not. The pool is big. So if there's an event or a party or something, you know, people are going to be there. Just go and make friends. Don't act stush and be like, no, I can't make friends because I'm on a BBC show. Go and make friends and go and say hello, man, because you're all on the same journey. We're all doing the same thing. And Definitely. That's, at the end of the day, when you talk to them, that's going to be the first bit of similarity you have is you're an actor. I'm an actor. Let's talk.
Beautiful.
What was that? 3?
4? Yeah, tip number 4 now.
Number 4. Lord. I'm trying to think of there's loads. I'm trying to think of which ones to pinpoint. Oh, I mentioned it already. 4, keep training. Keep training. God, yeah. No matter what it is. If you're a singer, I mean, I never trained as a singer, so I can't tell you what singers do to train.
I mean, you kind of did train as a singer.
I did, but I didn't like it, so I wasn't paying attention. So I don't know I don't remember what it was. But whatever you're doing, keep training. For me, it's as simple as watching movies and watching TV shows and just watching people. Because I'm gonna say something, but that's gonna be number 5. I'm just gonna be number 5. Let me put that to the side. But yeah, keep training and keep doing what you're doing. It could be the smallest thing, like for example, watching TVs and films. You're training because you're downloading information.
Definitely.
And it doesn't matter. I know huge actors that have been in all types of Netflix and HBOs. Ask them if they're training, they'll tell you yes. 3 times a week, I paid to go to classes. True. And you think, why? You just want an Emmy. So who cares? They want to win another one. You can't win. Yesterday's Emmy isn't today's Emmy. You're not going to win yesterday's Emmy with what you learned from 2 years ago. You got to keep up on your game because it's competitive. It's competitive. There's always going to be new actors coming up. So if you want to keep booking them roles, you got to keep training. Because my man's getting the training that you didn't get, and they're going to get that role that you auditioned for because you didn't get the training that they just got. So you got to keep training. Don't think you're too big for training. And the 5th one, which I was going to say about when it comes to watching TV, don't be scared to take inspiration from people, and because you're going to feel like you're copying. I've started to realize that we're in 2023. There is low-key no new ideas anymore. Everything's either a reboot or a new inspired idea or something else. So, and I've learned this because I like to write as well. So every time I'm writing, I'm like, oh, this is like power. This is like so-and-so. I'm like, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. They liked it. Let's do another. You
know what I mean? It happens. Yeah. There's nothing new anymore. So when I watch other actors and I go, damn, Idris did something mad right there on that scene. You know what? I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it. You can't think, oh, Damson did it. I can't do it. How are you going to get to where Damson got to if you're not going to take what he did on screen and make it your own? So don't be afraid to take inspiration, or people might say you're copying, but everyone's copying at this point. Everyone.
It's true.
Like, you know what I mean? Everyone's doing, I've got a podcast, we've got a podcast. We're not the first people to have podcasts.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And we want to share as much as we can in the same way as well. So that's perfect. I love that.
So just it's not copying, you're taking inspiration, and don't be afraid to admit it. If someone asks you, where'd you get that from? Don't make up some random BS story that, oh, it came to me in a dream. No, say you watched it in a movie. Say you watched it in a movie last night and you wrote it right down and put your own spin in it. That's more impressive to me. If you can watch something that was really good and make it seem like it was your own, that's a talent. To watch something that was already sick and you put your own spin in it, that's the talent. So don't be afraid to do that. Yeah, it's fine.
You did it.
I was scared about that, you know. I didn't think I was going to get to 5. Ooh.
You did it. You gave us 5 top banging tips to make it in the mainstream. I absolutely love that. And yeah, you've definitely shared a whole new insight into the industry that I think a lot of people didn't know, because I guess it's fair to say that not everyone gets the child star experience. So well done to you for that. Thank you for sharing it, and it's been good. Before we do go, please do tell us about your podcast, because I think it's incredible what you're doing, and it's such an amazing platform that I think should be shared as well here as well.
Yeah, it's called the Table Read Podcast. And I just sit down with other actors and create. I'm trying to branch it head of actors. I hope to get writers and directors and whatnot. But at the moment, it's just talking to other actors and basically doing what. It's not having so much fun right now because I'm usually on your side asking the questions. I'm really having a lot of fun right now being the person that's being interviewed rather than answering the questions. So yeah, I just talk to them about their journey. They talk about any up and coming projects that they've got coming up. Based on how much they can talk about. Usually it's a bit hush hush, but wherever they can say, we welcome it. Yeah, it's just a bit. I started it after my first show in Death in Paradise, because I have my YouTube channel and it was meant to be like my production company almost. I was going to put short films, and which I was at the time. So when I got back from Death in Paradise, I was like, cool, I just made a nice bit of money. I can buy all sorts of equipment. I can fund all this stuff. But when I got here, we was in another lockdown. Right. So I was like, okay, cool. What can I do from home? Yeah. So I went from my ideas list, and the one thing I could do from home was the podcast, doing it how we're doing it right now on Zoom.
Yeah, literally.
And it was just a bit of fun. I started as a bit of fun, but the longer I've done it, I've grown a passion for it. Where I feel like I need to. There's certain people that I've worked with in the past that are, in my opinion, way too slept on and they're underrated.
Definitely.
That I feel like I have a responsibility to, let's bring this person out on my little. I don't have the biggest platform, but I have somewhat of a platform. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. A platform is a platform, and this person I feel like doesn't really have the one they should be having yet. So I'm like, let me just bring them on, let them talk and tell people about who they are. It could be even people that hadn't been on TV before, people that have been on Hollywood, whatever shows. It doesn't really matter. It's a lot of fun just hearing about people's stories. So yeah, that kind of takes up my time when I'm not filming.
See, this is what we're doing. We're doing it right now, man. You know what I mean? We're sharing the journey, and I'm so glad that the Table Read exists as well, because yeah, it's a great way to dive deeper into industry tips, hacks, whatever it is. So well done. Like, again, I respect you as an actor, but also as a curator of storytelling as well, which is beautiful.
Vice versa. I'm not sat on that same platform right now on your end. Vice versa.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, everyone, you can watch Tahj Miles in series 12 of Death in Paradise Fridays at 9 p.m. on BBC One. Obviously, catch up on the previous series as well on BBC iPlayer. But Tahj, it's been amazing speaking to you. Where can everyone follow you, find you if they're not watching you?
So Instagram at Tahj Miles, TAHJ MILES. Twitter, Tahj D Miles. Twitter at your own risk, because that's usually where I rant about football. So follow me if you want to follow me, but don't get mad when you just see constant football tweets in it. That's what that's for. So yeah, those are where I'm usually at. Or my YouTube channel Tahj De Niro, which is where the podcast and any other stuff that I just want to create goes, essentially.
Amazing. Well, thank you again, Tahj, for joining us on The Mainstream.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.